Okay. All right, girls. Girls. So in this is the Wim Hof, really interesting. In terms of like long-term impact of something you can help somebody with that really, really matters, this stuff is much more important. So the Wim Hof is like the, woo, look, stuff is happening. And everyone goes, why wasn't breathwork amazing? This stuff is much more meaningful in the long term in terms of your health outcomes and how you can help people just regulate their nervous system. The basic principles, I made a video about this, is nasal breathing. I'm going to ask some questions so we have interaction. Why is it good to breathe through your nose?
Erectile tissue.
I didn't mention that, but that's a great point. It's the only other part in the body other than where you get erections, the female and male, that has erectile tissue. Good point. 10 points for the erection expert. Look, I got some alliteration there. Erection expert. Other than, so, just stepping aside for a moment from erections to back to the nose, still there, and you, sorry, filters, warms it and humidifies it, right? And nitric oxide, really, really important. It's only available in the nose. A lot of yoga practices have humming in it, and oftentimes they kind of find retrospectively, oh, that's why they were always humming in yoga, because humming increases your nitric oxide by 16 times, whereas nasal is by 4, right? Helps dilate your lungs and do all that good stuff, right? Nasal breathing. Do you exercise? When you exercise, do you breathe through your mouth or your nose?
Mouth.
You mouthed mouth. You went,
Oh, I'm really bad.
I'm really bad.
Depends.
Depends on what?
Most people
Depends
through their
on,
mouth.
like-
Sorry?
Most people through the mouth because they're under pressure.
Yeah,
Like
fair.
most
But-
people will do it through the mouth. 'Cause
Yeah.
Unless you're extremely fit and you're.
No,
But most
no,
people
it's
will.
not. So even fitness, physical fitness and respiratory health are not necessarily aligned. If I did a bolt test with your average athlete, they'd have 20, 25 seconds. They're redlining their system. They're not breathing efficiently. They're just really good at pushing through it. Yeah. Breathing through your nose. If you if you start running and you train for 2 or 3 weeks, you'll find your nose clears up. Why? Because CO2 tolerance increases, and the CO2 dilates all the blood vessels in your nose and returns it to normal function. So the number one intervention you can have with anybody is teaching them to train to breathe through their nose. Light breathing. Light means like when you're breathing in and out, you've seen the video, right? You use your finger to do that lightly, really important. This is why most people who take up yoga, if their teacher trains them in the breathwork, they get all these benefits anyway. If you're breathing, sorry girls, the funk just took over. And we're going to look at some functional breathing patterns, and breath holding is really important. So if you hold your breath when you're jogging, whatever you're doing, you're building up your CO2, you're training your diaphragm, bunch of stuff we covered in videos. And then we're looking for this balanced CO2 and O2 levels. Questions about this? I know it's like, I'm flying.
Do you deal with people, like for example, my brother had find it really hard to breathe through his nose,
Mhm.
but he also has like some growths in there.
Polyps or something in his
Yeah.
nose.
Wow. Okay, so some crazy percentage of people have, like I have a deviated septum. We all have, like if you've played any sort of sport, you've been punched in the nose, you've got a deviated septum. Most times it's not, it's related to CO2 tolerance. If your Bolt test is below 25, you will experience nasal blockages. If you get your Bolt test up to 25 and or 30 and you still have problems breathing through your nose, then we know it's an obstructive problem, right? And at that point it's surgery. It's like, okay, look, my respiratory system is good. This thing is not working for me. But it's you can't know that until you get up to this kind of 25, 30 level, until at least they've tried. If you've been training, and I found this as well when I started doing the running, if you've been training for 3 weeks, jogging every day with your nose, and it's still not clearing out, then you've got a problem. But usually over those 2 or 3 weeks, you'll start you're literally training your nose to handle this new amount of air, and it very quickly adapts to that. Good question. Anything else?
The nitric oxide, you said humming increases it.
So if you breathe through your mouth, you basically you get a little bit. If you breathe through your nose, you get 4 times. And if you do humming, you get 16 times the amount of nitric oxide. So you'll remember during COVID, they were looking at nitric oxide treatments. Now, nitric oxide does a bunch of stuff. It increases ventilation, increases dilation. It means that the air moves more in your lungs. It has antibacterial properties. It's super stuff.
Is it related to vagal nerve activation as well, vagal tone activation?
So breathing through your nose also activates the vagus nerve. Yeah, and you're naturally.
Humming
And gargling,
does,
gargling
right.
actually
does
gargling
well.
and having-
Ah, yeah.
The vagus nerve.
Yeah, gargling. Yeah, my daughter does it into fucking brushing her teeth every morning.
Yeah.
And you're clapping it on.
I am, and
I clap it.
Half an hour.
If you take your 2 index fingers into this little point in your nose,
Let's all do that. Is that? Did you say your nose? In your nose, yeah. In your nose. I think we're living in alternate realities here. Look at this. This is a good picture. But like,
still have an erection in my nose.
Jesus. Suddenly, I just got. You just gonna see me go. Boom, it gives men erections. I'm like, ah.
oh Lord. And
Facial
you like
erection. A facial erection.
nostril.
Yeah.
No, yeah,
Facial
yeah.
erection.
Yeah, I guess so. And you just like, if you close your eyes and you just do like very little circles, like in one direction. Gentle.
These are erogenous zones, your ears as well, though, aren't they?
And then changing direction.
I'm waiting for something to just explode or blow up.
No, but it's about like activating your vagus nerve.
Okay.
I knew yours as well.
If you actually do it without
You
feeling
can do it.
stimulated,
Yeah,
it's really
yeah.
soothing.
Wow.
I just had one other
Vagus
question.
nerve. No, this is for the vagus nerve.
Okay.
Like soothe the nerve.
Okay, so vagus nerve is diaphragm, nose, and these points in your ears. Question.
So so I would have learned like full yogic breath, which is basically diaphragmatic breathing.
Yeah.
So in through your nose, and they would always say like in through your nose, but out through your mouth or nose.
Bullshit.
What? Okay.
Totally. All the science, all the most recent science is like,
Yeah.
no.
Why
Breathe
would
through
you
your
teach it
nose.
Like that?
Because it's a big mistake over
So,
time.
like,
Who
so
taught you?
Hang on now, what?
taught you that?
like that, like you
What
go
about if
in
you're
through your
mouth
nose, but
breathing,
either
like-
out through your mouth
Like
or
if
your
you,
nose.
like I never breathe through my nose very
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, I learned
Like,
these as
So
well.
always in through
like
your
is that
nose.
bad? I
Really
don't
bad.
breathe
In,
there.
like, fully
Really
yogic
bad.
breath.
So these things are interrelated. So
I used to
partially.
have, like asthma and allergies.
Yeah. All these things. So, for example, your reaction when we're doing the breath work, part of that is, you know, that, and part of it is your the physio. So it's a vicious loop, right? Because you're more anxious, you breathe through your mouth because you feel you're getting more air, and but you're not, and you're creating this vicious loop where you're, and that's why you're not getting advantage. You're not learning to calm down your regulation system. Does that make sense?
Primarily.
Tape your mouth at
they
night.
Breathe in through their nose and out through their nose. It's just society has it wrong now. Like, yeah, the way, like, supposedly that's the way people used
But
to.
it's
think.
more just like, is it okay to breathe out through your mouth?
You just, it is okay. It's totally fine. You can do that. Like if you do, you're like a physiological side to it. It's like, and then that's okay. You can also do it without that. That's okay, but it's not the same because you're going to naturally regulate your breathing once you've through your nose. Imagine why you. You can see how the rhythm and a bunch of stuff is not going to work like that,
That's
right?
the wrong message. Ever
Yeah.
since.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's just interesting how they, like, I kind of don't teach it like that, you know. And it's
Who
like,
do they really teach it like that?
like,
Since
yeah, like full yogic breath, yeah, like to have the option of out through the mouth, like always in through your nose and out through your nose, but
There's
if you want your mouth.
at least a lot of things yoga nailed it. This one's where it's not. I mean, all the
They
evidence is
don't
now.
nail breathing, like.
No, although that is the central premise.
yeah,
Well,
but
they,
they
I
don't.
mean, if you do proper, like if you do in terms of the cadence, for example, which is
Yeah.
how many breaths per minute, they nail it.
Yeah,
You know,
Ujjayi is good.
like the humming. There's a bunch that they do
Yeah,
nail.
yeah,
I'd say
yeah.
80 or 90% they
Yeah.
do nail on. There's a couple of bits
Yeah.
they went the other way on. Yeah.
Can we use this on children?
Yeah.
Not.
So it's like what part of this? The erectile function bit?
No, I just meant, I was meant to say yesterday, and then I was meant to say today, can we incorporate this for kids as well?
100%, 100%,
I never
100%.
knew how to breathe. I just
No,
dropped
look.
it.
I notice my kids like at night as well,
Yeah,
like
like
they
an
sleep with their mouth.
Your
wide
job,
open
sorry guys, your job, one of the major things as a parent is to, which they do in different tribes around the world, is to train your kid that when they have their mouth open, you close their mouth.
I
And when they're sleeping, they do in Africa, they do that.
I read that in the breath
That's
book.
what I was saying.
Yeah.
That they
Originally breathe
they
through our
stand
nose.
on like when the toddler is sleeping to make sure the mouth is not open.
Yeah.
I know, I've noticed it since they were small.
Huge.
Notice it, but they still-
We'll get onto it, but there's basic practices. Like when we do the walking test that we're going to do, that's a really good one for kids because it gives them like, oh, you know, how many steps can you do? How many? Just as long as you're there when they fall over, eventually they're going to pass out. But That it's really important for kids. Like, look at these symptoms, right? Which we could now apply to basically, like modern kids. You know, fatigue. These are some symptoms of poor breathing, right? Fatigue, poor concentration, poor performance, impaired memory, breathlessness, frequent sighing, yawning, or sniffing. How many of you are yawning, sighing, or sniffing?
I'm feeling half of them after my lunch there now. I'm just like.
Yeah. That's also over breathing. If you're going, oh, that's a form of hyperventilation.
By 3 o'clock, I used to be like that.
Ba 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 bam. Irregular, fast heartbeats, palpitations. Before I took up yoga, I had a lot of this stuff, and then I had a really good breathwork teacher in the yoga, and then they all went away, and that's where I kind of got into breathwork. It was like, how the fuck do I not have hay fever? Why am I all fine now all of a sudden? It took me about a year to figure out it was the breathing. Okay, boom. So. These are the basic. I mean, if you get someone coming into you, this is your self-analysis. But there's also questions you're going to be looking at them, right? Are you breathing? Are you breathing through your nose or mouth? Straightforward. Breathing from the abdomen or the upper chest. How many people breathe with their chest and not their abdomen? Yeah, it's really. So we'll look at some exercises. How big is the wave of each breath? In Wim Hof, you want this big wave, right? In general breathing, in normal everyday breathing. Do you want a big wave? No, it should be really almost imperceptible, ideally. As you breathe out, do you need to breathe back in immediately? So in healthy breathing, it's like slight pause, slight pause. It's those pauses that make it long enough for you to have healthy breathing. You'll catch yourself, you're breathing without any gap at the top or bottom. It's like healthy breathing is the opposite of the Wim Hof method. Think about it like that, right? Is it easy for you to see the movements of your breathing? And if your breathing is noticeable, do you require effort? Look, same. Now, these are some examples of problems so people who do the Wim Hof breathing and the transformative breathwork and get into ice baths, it's okay. They're going to have, these are all the symptoms they're going to get. There's a bunch of shit, and you have to explain to them when they're doing their ice bath or the Wim Hof, why are my hands cold? Why are they twisting? Why is it? Look, your CO2 tolerance is low. You've got dysfunctional breathing patterns. Okay. That's basically it. It's all like so much stuff will go away when you have this done. Okay. Whew, so, body oxygen level test. Everyone's done it. We're going to do it again. Take a moment to just center yourself. Now, really important.
Ah, that's what it stands for. Okay.
Sorry.
I was actually yesterday saying, as in I thought it was like a running test when I saw it first, and I was like, I'm going to fucking die doing that, but no, I'm grand.
Well, you'll be grand now. Very importantly, right? You have this normal breath. You're going to exhale through your nose to where you would normally exhale. It's not like whatever you normally breathe through, you don't breathe lower than that. Everyone's yawning away now. And you're going to hold your breath and count the seconds. Now, excuse me. How do you know that you've gone too far? It should be the first sign of hunger for air and not like you just redlining it. How do you know if you're redlining it? Yeah, exactly. You contract, but you should be able to resume the same breath that you had before. So, and then you go. If you go, that's cheating. In the second test, you kind of circumvent that because you're just trying to walk as far as possible, right? If you everyone take a phone or watch or something like that. I really do want you to take note of this score because I would hope that over the next month we're all going to improve our Bolt scores.
So what over your time in the Bolt? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Now, so you can do it on your own time because if I say now, it's just going to confuse people. So just do your own Bolt test. It's a normal couple of breaths in, you breathe out, and then until you feel that first twitch. It's okay.
My breathing.
But look, think about it like this.
Like I felt like a little kind of like.
Yeah, because all those things in it. But think about before I knew that alcohol, once you know what the thing is, or there's something you can work on, that goes up really quickly once you start doing some of the techniques, and then you're going to notice that you feel a lot better very quickly, right? Yeah. So it's better to know it. Look at this.
we do this 3 times?
Now, just give me one for now. I just want to give me a number, right? Got it? You don't need to give me a number. Just you have a number. Okay? Do you want to do our numbers?
Sure.
Yeah? Go on, what'd you get?
Nearly 14 seconds.
Nearly 14 seconds.
40.
So you should have started over there. I saw her one. I said at 13, at 17. We move up slowly to 40. What did you get? 19. She's still going. The yoga teacher is showing off. What? We have to breathe again? Whatever.
We got distracted here. We don't know.
Yeah.
Can I ask you, when I did this the other day, I was like, when I breathed in to hold my breath, I'd hold it in and then I was going, letting bits out. So should I be, but I suppose still wasn't breathing. So when you're holding your breath, should you hold it in or let the breath out?
Let the breath out. So all of these breath tests are breaths out at the normal range, which might be similar to like the Wim Hof where you drop it down to 3/4 and then boom. And then you go. Yeah? What we got?
30.
30. Very nice.
Yeah, I got 33 that day.
Yeah. Good?
25.
All right. Solid? 12. There you go. All right. But you're all like, so when you're framing, if you have a client that's coming in for breath work, your job is to frame this as a positive thing that they can work on, that is easy, they're simple, you're all wellness facilitators, so I'm not going to go, okay, hey, well done, it's all okay, but that's the idea, that you have this thing, these are the techniques, and this is how you feel, and in 3 weeks, you should go up 5 points on your bolt, and that's going to lead to a significant increase in your quality of life, right? Now,
So what's the norm? That should be 26.
I'm going to show you after we do this one, yeah? All right, girls, we're going to do this one, which is similar. Everyone stand up. Standing up. Now. We're gonna, I guess we can do it have 4 people over there and 4 people over here. All you're doing is similar breathing in, breathing out. I'll show you like this. I'll move this out of the way. So, this is called the maximum breathlessness test. This is better for kids and for people in general, in a sense, because you can't lie. Do you know? In this one, you go, do 34. Right? Well, no, I'm sure everyone's score is real. In this case, it's like normal breath, and then after that, you're going to pinch and walk as many steps back and forth until you go. And I don't really mind if you're, in this case, if you push in red line, that's fine for me. It says here to return under control, but if you want to go a bit more, that's fine. So we'll come here, we'll all do. Come to this end, there's nothing in room. And importantly, normally be really relaxed doing this. We're doing this in a classroom setting.
It's like 1
Paces, yeah, it means steps. You can't really, it's just like a normal, like you're just walking. That's it. That's the thing, and you count your own steps. All right, so whenever you're in.
Holding your breath.
So the same thing, just.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's just like, that's why we're here. No, you just have normal couple of breaths. Really look at me like that. And then when you're done, also pinching your nose, and then you start walking, not talking, until you let go. Huh? You could run, that's what I'm saying, but then you wouldn't feel as good about yourself or as bad. Okay, so whenever you're ready, off you go. In one, she's off she goes. What you thinking about? Yeah, whenever you're ready, just count your own steps. Oh yeah. That made sense. The way you did it made sense. Everyone should be walking around in a circle rather than the way we did it. Huh? That's actually good. Yeah, relative to where you were, that's not bad.
Well,
Yeah?
it was.
All right, take a seat. We'll just go. So I'll show you the normal range. It's actually not normal, but let's say functional range. What? Did I not put them up? Oh, sorry. So for steps, like bolt, the average kind of for this bolt would be 25 seconds. You want to get is a kind of functional. 25 seconds and above is functional for breath. 40 paces, or maybe 50, but you want to be aiming for 80. So sorry, 60 paces, 80 is your aim, right?
Yeah.
And it's way easier to do this with kids and with your own kids. It's really interesting as well. With your kids go, oh, we're going to play a little game. Okay, let's see what we can do. Blah, blah, blah. And you make it competitive, and then they'll start training that. Yeah? If you have any questions, I'm going to go through this really quickly because we have on the videos anyway. Okay. Light, deep, and slow. By light, it's basically, we'll just do a really simple one. If you're trying to train someone to breathe lightly, you have them put their finger underneath their nose, and you have them reduce the feeling of the air until it's barely perceptible. Breathing in. This is this light bit. So just to get you spend more time, and you want to have them breathing. 4 minutes is what you generally assign for breathworks. 4 minutes where they're trying to just reduce that sensation as much as possible. Most of us are breathing. I was lying in bed last night and I was thinking about the workshop today. And I realized I was like breathing. I was breathing through my nose. I always breathe through my nose, but I was breathing like this. It's like, fuck, it even sounded stressful. You know, it's like, wow, you can, when you hear it, it's because something's gone wrong. So just be quiet and smooth. So this is a really nice one. Again, if you're working with your own kids, because they have some sort of metric and feedback, and you're training air hunger, right? This part is like, they should feel that sensation. As they breathe lightly, they start to go, oh, wait, well, I want to breathe faster. You're like, no, you're training them to accept that levels, and that increases the CO2 tolerance, yeah? Breathing slow. What's the optimal breathing rate? Everyone except IDT, because I know you know, you seem to know all the answers. Someone read the book. Do you know? What's the optimal breathing rate per minute?
Like, no, I was doing 6 breaths per minute on a thingy last night
5
on
to 6.
a work, the Monday Club. Ugh, I can't get my words out. One of the lads does the Monday Club and it was 6 breaths per minute, yeah.
That's
Is that
5
right?
to 6.
Yeah. 5 to 6, right? So which is why yoga works actually, because it's 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out, usually that beat. And you'll also notice that you might not notice, but all the hymns and the chanting and all these things are actually 5 seconds long. All of the traditional practices of like the Whole Mary, Whole Mary, Whole Mary, Hail Mary. Yeah, that's why I suddenly thought of football, but yeah.
Hail Mary, as in Ave Maria, is that what you're trying to
Yeah. Hail Mary, Amen. That one, that's 6 seconds. And most of the humming and all this chanting, they have that length built into them. It's like this kind of collective wisdom that we have.
Did you say 5 or 6 seconds a minute? Breath.
5 or 6, let's say 6 breaths per minute, 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out, right? If you were training, we're not going to spend too long training it, but you get that idea.
I just said, did I hear that wrong?
Any training that you were doing, like if you were going to, you would be just basically trying to get them to breathe at this rate, through the nose, not too heavily, and using their diaphragm. That's the basic idea. So this is about air hunger. This is about the pace itself, what it should be. And this biomechanical part, this breathing deep, is basically using your diaphragm, which we looked at a little bit. One thing that's really easy to train people with their diaphragm, which I think you were doing, when you exhale, if you exhale with the H sound, you have to engage your diaphragm when you're breathing like that. So you can help someone at least understand where their diaphragm is by change that to noise. Yeah. If you take your hands and put them on your sides, diaphragmatic breathing is to a certain degree about that, but it's also about you can consciously expand your lateral sides of your diaphragm. So you're breathing. We'll do this. We're going to breathe for 2 minutes. That's right. 2 minutes at 5 seconds. And you put your hands on your side and you're trying to, you should feel you're expanding. And now we're going to do it light, slow, and deep. Okay, so we're just going to do it for 1 minute. And you want to feel that diaphragm expanding. So Any questions? Straightforward enough, right? Okay. We'll go over here. Come. I'm going to show you some quick dynamics for using your diaphragm. So if you lie down, for someone who doesn't know how to use their diaphragm, you get something and you put it on your belly. So someone be careful.
You have more cubes.
I'm going to find, I should have more cubes, shouldn't it? That's exactly what I should have. But it doesn't really matter. It can be a juggling pin. I have juggling pins here. A book.
What's it called?
You get a book. There's that. There's that. What else have I got here? You get your own book. No. All right, really simple. Whoop, sorry.